very early on. Masterful use of the Shen ult to generate advantages across the map. Do we see the same thing again, or this time will Mad Lions give the Shen a bit more respect? Something we're going to have to keep our eyes on.
And even before we get to that state of the game where it is about using Shen teleports or really
Seen at Worlds, so it's something we'll keep our eyes on as we head into the second game here. SuperMassive up 1 game. This is big. Again, coming into this series, 2 wins versus EU at Worlds. One's versus G2, one's versus Mad previously. Well, now they've got a second win to back that up, and a first in this series. Mad Lions, though, clearly looking to start off game 2 with a bang. 5-man invade, laying down vision, trying to figure out exactly where Kakao is looking to start. But meanwhile, Kakao's got a plan of his own as he invades on the top side. Will he drop some vision of his own? Looks like he's going to use the ward courtesy of his top laner. Will drop it at the last possible second.
Obviously, that means that the ward will be alive that much longer to get as much information as possible, as we'll see what both junglers are going to do with this. Now, typically with Lilia, because she can farm through Raptors so effectively, you see a lot of delay invades. I like that teams have been pivoting away from that because it's become such a stock standard start for Lilia jungles to delay invade on enemy Raptors that teams like the Unicorns of Love have been setting up counter invades against it. So instead, Mad Lions opt in to invade bot side, just get some information, and it looks like it'll be a bot side start for Shadow and a top side start for Kakao.
Of course, that information going to be available to both sides pretty readily. It would have taken some very creative pathing to get to the blue buff to start without really giving that information away to the side of SuperMassive. So for now, they feel pretty safe with that assumption, and they will have it confirmed as soon as they see both Carzzy and Kaiser on the way into lane without full HP and mana. So good information from both sides. The question now becomes, how do they use it? A ward on the blue buff should spot Kakao out shortly as he blast cones over the wall. Perfect information now, or at least Mad Lions, and, well, partial information for SuperMassive. We'll see how they use it as the lane phase kicks off. Humanoid in the mid lane, a guy that we have our eyes on. A quick level 2 is going to be big damage. Not going to proc press the attack quite yet, however.
So the nice thing that you want to do with Lucian if you're laning him, especially in the mid lane, is you want to create a slow push, which is what Humanoid's doing right now. The slow push will slowly crash into the tower, and then to try to deny your opponent as much CS as possible, Lucian has a lot of tools like the range of his Q off of the minions to poke and chip away with you. As I say that though, instead of actually punishing the Zoe, Humanoid uses the time and the crash not to punish Balulu and try to take away some of these pots and some of these biscuits, but instead walks over and contests the Raptor camp. So giving away some of his individual advantage that he could have had over Balulu and crashing the wave, chipping away at that health bar, and instead taking the time to get some vision for Shadow and set up his Lilia for success.
Taking the Raptors is going to be big. XP advantage over to Shadow. We'll be able to grab topside Crab as well as his own blue buff here, so this should start to rocket ahead. Meanwhile, on the top lane, Aromi with a level advantage feels pretty comfortable. Of course, important to note, as we hit level 3, and Arma will be able to use the Spirit's Refuge to block the Empowered Auto. We'll start to shift back in his favor. Kakao here, though, maybe looking to make a difference.
Good sense from Arome. He got the crash just in time for the wave here and immediately walks down into River, knowing that Kakao could be in the area and he's exposed for a gank, waiting for Shadow to come, frankly, shadow him as they're contesting for Crab. And mid-priority, the crash has come in for Balulu. It is now pushed back towards Humanoid, so Balulu gets first move, and that's 3 members to help Kakao take this Crab away from Shadow.
Yeah, so while Shadow had a 1-camp advantage, Kakao is going to trade it for the Crab there, so still feeling pretty fine for Kakao at this stage of the game. Additionally, you can see still hesitant to pot forward, but Humanoid now going to be in trouble. Cleanse coming out pretty early on. Balulu firing back in this mid lane matchup, and now Corrupting Pot has been spent from Humanoid. No TP available, so he might be in a tough spot here.
But double Crab for Kakao. I mean, it's not like the worst end all because there was early resets on both Raptor Camp and Crud Camp for Shadow, but it's definitely not going to help matters here as Shadow's actually reaching for a gank in mid lane. Nope, he's just going to cover. He's forcing it.
Good damage now coming in. The flash burn from Balulu. And this is big. The flash and the heal, of course, important cooldowns on their own, but a flashless Zoe in mid lane is a very vulnerable champion for follow-up ganks. Potentially level 6, maybe even level 5, depending on how cheeky Mad Lions are feeling. But flashless Zoe, pre-6 especially, is easy pickings.
Now the question is, what does Humanoid want to do with his wave? Does he try to punish that flashless Zoe that you're talking about, Dracos, and freeze the wave against him, deny him the CS? Or does he continue to just hard shove it in, knowing that they can walk into River, he can move with his Lilia, look for skirmishes, knowing that Balulu can't follow as safely?
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult call to make, of course. He's relatively low mana overall. He has a biscuit to pop if he wants to stay in lane a little bit longer. Carzzy and Kaiser are pushing in here. Should be easy for Zainat to pick up the farm under tower, but because he's so low mana, it might make things a bit more difficult. 8 CS in favor of Carzzy for now, as Zainat should catch most of those. And mid lane, Bolulu was starting to pull ahead, almost a 10 CS advantage as the waves even out, but much lower on health overall. Humanoid can back up, Snowflower in the area as well, and SuperMassive. I love how many resources they're just putting into the mid lane. They say, hey, Zoe doesn't have flash, we know she's vulnerable, we'll back her up. We'll bring in the Nautilus, we'll bring in the Graves, we'll make sure Bolulu can stay comfortable.
Also getting a really nice reset for Bolulu. He really needed the assistance to make sure that he could get back into base because Humanoid was just trying to keep him in lane as long as possible. Now Humanoid can get the freeze if he really wants here. It looks like he's just going to try to hard push it through, also get the reset himself. We're going to be playing around the Infernal Dragon now. You've already seen that Carzzy and Kaiser have had priority into their lane. Kaiser on first reset, since Snowflower used his reset to basically cover his mid laner. Now means that Mad Lion should be first to move into this river.
Of course, Bolu's going to be able to catch that wave, should even things out overall, but Lucian's
Shadow's on the
first
wrong
back
side.
is going to feel much stronger, unless, of course, Snowflower can cancel it, but he can't. Kaiser is there for the body blocks. We have a BF sword coming out first for Humanoid versus the bits and pieces from the side of Bolulu. Will be a difficult few minutes.
Yeah, Shadow going to top side camp since he cleared Krugs twice before he reset himself for his first back does mean that it's SuperMassive that get first access into the Dragon since their jungler's on bot side. Kaiser being very respectful that Shadow was cross map, can't just face check into River, despite the fact that the support was first down there, and now it's a good Infernal for SuperMassive.
Yeah, solid early game pickup. Next, of course, is going to be the Cloud, which means we will have either an Ocean or Mountain Rift. Neither one feels too bad for either side, if we're honest. But keeping our eyes again on Shadow to see what exactly he can get done is the Stolen Ignite. We'll just do a bit more damage to Humanoid in the mid lane, but Lilia now level 6. Where is that ult going to go? What setup are they going to try to go for? Top lane on an island, but the island very much owned by Armut at this point as he does have the 15 CS advantage.
But we got our question answered, Dracos. You know, what was Humanoid going to do with this wave? Would he try to freeze it? No, he hard pushes it to join Lilia, and here they go.
The Graves, but Shen now coming in. Shadow's going to be in trouble here. Cacao flashing out over the wall. Humanoid, though, going to try to continue it. Humanoid desperately trying to find the kill, and it looks like they are going to be able to grab one. That's going to be first blood, or now coming in, Armut next on the list. However, Bolulu getting caught out over the wall. Shadow has to play this one safe. He's very squishy. Bolulu going to snipe away the big Krug there. Happy to have a bit of extra money, even happier to have a few extra flashes. Playing this one slow. Rome still quite tanky. He's going to use the Searing Charge out to safety. Second flash now used by Bolulu.
Watch out for the bubble.
Flash not nearly anytime soon. Unstoppable for now. The flash out from Arome. Well played mechanically, but still SuperMassive trading blow for blow.
Really nice for Arome to use the Bellows Breath, I believe it's called, to make sure that the bubble couldn't allow Armut to catch up to him and have a 2-for-1 trade in favor of SuperMassive over the collapse of the red buff. So props to Arome right there, as we see that the plan from Mad Lions is use Humanoid's power and carry that over into Shadow.
And you can see Zoe definitely on the back foot already. We're not going to see an early lost chapter, but instead an early Seekers will make her life easier in terms of overall survival. She's going to be begging for that second blue buff spawn. Doesn't look like she's going to get it, though.
For some reason, I thought you were talking about Jake Tiberi.
Second blue buff spawn.
I was like, rude. He gives away plenty of blue buffs. Here we go, though, making use of Humanoid's power again, priority in the mid lane. The fact that Bolulu walked over for that blue buff that you were just talking about, Dracos, means that it's a free Herald. There's no waves that Humanoid is missing into the mid lane, although Bolulu is trying to push the wave as hard as possible, but Humanoid picks up Herald, or excuse me, Shadow picks up Herald, and Humanoid walks back to his lane just in time.
And that's the good news. The bad news is, meanwhile, on the bot side, Cacao is trying to put in some work here. Carzzy, though, catching him out. Cacao still very squishy overall. Kaiser going to the backside. Cacao dashes over the wall. Kaiser flashes and finishes it off. A little supportal combat, but Snowflower, where are you going to go? You can't flash over the wall, too. 2 quick kills picked up by Mad Lions. SuperMassive had a play in their minds, but it is Mad Lions who come out on top.
And they don't drop the wave either, because Arome uses his TP just in case, actually teleports down to the bottom side and picks up the wave that's being shoved into him. Meanwhile, Shin has the wave in front of his tower. That means it's going to be a really easy reset for Carzzy and Kaiser if they want to swap lanes to walk towards the top side, pick up 2 kills, and not drop any CS in exchange.
And here we see the play going through, and you can, with tower completely under pressure, there's no tower here to back them up. You think Snowflower and Cacao, they've got a solid 2v2, but the Ignite, the burst damage, the ulti, and Cacao just not tanky enough yet. So Snowflower, sadly, gets to choose who he wants to die to.
And this is a really good read from Carzzy and Kaiser, knowing that Kakao was going to come for the Krugs. They had good deep vision. It's now been removed here, so unfortunately you can't check the minimap to check what it was. But deep vision on the top side of Kakao's jungle. Shadow was constantly invading. They used deductive reasoning that he would come for the Krug camp and set up a very nice punish. So a completely different early game this time around for the Mad Lions.
Bolulu locked up. Sleeping Trap Bubble will not connect, forcing out the heal. Not a stolen one, the actual one. So Bolulu does still have the flash, but guys are going to wander into mid lane and donate a few of these creeps over, courtesy of the Relic Shield there, or the Steel Pauldrons, whatever version of Relic Shield it is.
Not the crab.
Rome is going to be robbed. Poor Rome. Everyone else on the team doing good, but Rome cannot catch a break. Has to play it safe on the Bella's Breath. Has to wait for the opportunity to try to get away. He's a sleepy Ram God, but now he's a dead one. Kakao grabs the kill.
And you can see what Rome is thinking. He's got all of his friends in mid lane, but no one is coming to save him as SuperMassive fire back. But now Mad Lions trying to catch Snowflower, or at least cut off his access towards the top side. Mad Lions were actually seeing that Arome was being collapsed on and were walking 4 members top side to play off the Herald and zone away this Ezreal, potentially look for a dive, but they have a small scuffle with Snowflower. Snowflower does save his 80 carry's life, because now they should have information.
They have to be careful.
They should have information that everyone's here, but will not save the tower.
Wait on that one. Tower getting lower and lower, but so hard to finish off this last plate. And so much gold going to Carzzy. So this is not going to be the support center that we saw last game, waiting 25, 30 minutes for a Frozen Mallet or a Black Cleaver. Instead, we get to see this man come online very early. And against this team comp, I honestly like it. Yes, Graves is going to get a lot of armor from the True Grit passive on his E, but for Bolulu and Zeitnot, they're going to have a hard time walking forward to lay down any poke, especially as this Senna gets more souls.
So now, looking across from SuperMassive side, as you just beautifully illustrated kind of some of the strengths that Mad Lions are finding, SuperMassive are still doing a good job finding handshakes where they can, trying to trade some of the cross-map plays that Mad Lions are doing. The fact that they've now picked up 2 dragons, looking for a potential very early Elder stack, which is going to feel really nice for them, as well as their initial item power spikes. They spike really well on 1 and 2 items, so if they continue to keep these very quick dragons up, there is a very clear win condition available for SuperMassive. If you're a Mad Lions fan, Mad Lions comp still is fine, just kind of chilling. They scale really well. They'll be really confident for that 3rd dragon fight. But if they get flipped on that 3rd dragon fight, then it all goes out the window, and suddenly SuperMassive have a very clear path to victory here. Or Mad Lions hunker down, rock up when they're strong, and close out the game from a very clean start.
Rome's not even playing League of Legends anymore, Frustrated. He's playing Splinter Cell. He's like...
It's Farmville.
Yeah, this is...
He's waiting for the crops. He's got to wait for the seasons.
The thing is, he doesn't even get the farm. Carzzy's here. Oh, it's just the biggest long con of all time. But who is he? Is he conning himself, or is he conning SuperMassive? It's unclear at this point. Kaiser stepping forward. Zeitnot ready to eat over the wall.
He's actually not ganking Ezreal Nautilus. He's ganking the minion wave. God. And he just gets to now watch his 80 carry pulled away. Give this man a medal. He has sacrificed everything for them.
Does it get a medal, or does it get a report after the game? It's unclear at this point. We're going to have to wait to see.
Like I said, Dracos, the only difference between a tank and an inter is the follow-up that your team provides you.
That's true. All right, Engage now coming in. Kaiser, is he a tank or is he an inter? For now, looks like Kakao trying to fire back, but Kaiser's still quite tanky. The TP's now coming in. The rest of the team just trying to dash out. Humanoid, though, could be in trouble. Big damage comes in for the culling. SuperMassive not going to get much there, giving up almost TP in the process as Mad Lions collapsing on the bottom side. And finally, the secret agent will reveal himself. Arome pushing in, milking that Demolish proc for all it's worth. He waited 60 seconds for it. He earned it. Not quite a plate, but he will donate one to Carzzy. So that's the team effort. Oh, he does get it. He gets 80 gold.
Yeah, because he hit it.
80 gold a minute. That's how much it costs to get Arome in your lane.
Cheap contract.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what's going to happen now. Dragon spawning in 3 minutes. 2nd Herald will be coming up. That could be the objective that people are playing for outside of these plates, as I say that, though. Shadow, Bambi here is hopping down. They want to make it the dive. They've got a big numbers advantage and a wave that is very slow behind them. Yeah, Shadow, I think he walked all the way here just to cover Carzzy and Kaiser.
There's a lot of that this game. A little bit of a different look, spending a lot more time around the bottom side for the Mad Lions. We check in kind of on the general state of the game overall. Of course, 2 Drakes for SuperMassive, and that's going to be a big deal. Mountain Soul will be important in this game. But additionally, Mad Lions with a 3K gold advantage just about, and that's going to mean a lot more at this stage of the game. It could start to shift as the Warrior is finished, the Titanic Hydra is finished, but Shadow well on his way to that Leandres and is looking quite strong on this Lilian.
But here comes the reset. So we just saw that Carzzy and Kaiser shoved the wave in bot lane. You can now see that they're making their way up to the mid lane. They want to force the mid lane tower. Herald has now spawned. Not force the mid lane tower. Force the mid lane wave and then move over into the Herald. And the resets are slightly slow for SuperMassive, but they are trying to sprint over here. Here comes Snowflower. He's like running through river, trying to get to the mid lane. Can he get there safely? Can he get there safely?
Snowflower can just hook his way out. There is something especially hilarious about watching Ornn just kind of waddle towards the Rift Herald before unintentionally or intentionally drawing aggro with just the Sunfire Cape. But now they've started it up. This is going to be the second Herald of the game for the Mad Lions. Of course, no tower plates on the line, but could still look to grab a tower in total. Breaking mid lane is a big deal against a Zoe composition. If she breaks your mid lane, nowhere is safe. If you break hers first, she has very limited room to play safely.
And again, SuperMassive are stuck in this handshake of that potential mid lane break coming through. The Herald goes down, and now Mad Lions trying to find something.
Committing. Snowflower, though, going to be in trouble. Big ulti coming in from Shenny, trying to buy a bit more time so Armo can join the fight. Kakao waiting on the backside, but he's already given up on this one. They know this is not their fight to win. Humanoid stepping away, but no. Bolulu finding the kill. Zaynot ready to rain hell from across the wall, but they are going to pull away. That's going to be one sleepy Shen, but they don't really have the damage follow-up reel right now. Maybe they do. Armut is going to be in trouble, and Carzzy is going to grab that one. The power of the Senna to finish that out.
It is disaster for SuperMassive right there. They were shaking on the red. Kakao was actually trying to wait for the red buff, knowing that they couldn't contest the Herald because they didn't have mid lane priority. Instead, they get picked in river off of a skirmish. The Herald goes down, clears out mid lane tower, and now 40 seconds left for Mad Lions to set up for this dragon and interrupt.
Bolulu is trying to get something done. He leaps forward. Kaiser's going to be in trouble, threading the needle from Zaynot, but can't quite finish the job. Healing to run forward. Big damage coming in from the Zoe. Kakao wants to follow up, but Shotgun doesn't quite have the range that he needs.
Yeah, pressure on SuperMassive. They know that they have this tiny little window where they need to kind of catch their breath, restabilize the map, and get a hold of this dragon. They really want to continue their stacks here. And yeah, Mountain Soul is not going to feel great, but the potential early Elder is kind of what they really want to go for. But this is the third dragon fight that we were talking about. And frankly, the itemization isn't there for SuperMassive. They're not as strong as I would have expected them to be at this point, but they're going to try to rush it anyway.
Get it done. If he can find a way into the backline, he will do a lot of damage. Titanic Shen is very strong on one item, but if he just keeps getting zoned away like this, it's going to be trouble. But no, Orome caught out. Orome not quite going to get taken down. The Ezreal does not connect. That's a sleepy Forge God, but they cannot follow up.
Zaynot's ultimate just so close to taking down Orome.
Senna with a 5-person heal as well. It gets very, very difficult here. The Piercing Darkness there to provide a lot for the team. Shadow going to take the lap around, and it looks like SuperMassive decide they do not want to contest this one. Yeah,
they just waved the white flag. Again, SuperMassive saw that they had a very tiny window to try to get it done, and Mad Lions very smartly call their bluff, force them off of it, play it slow, go back towards the mid lane, force that one through, and now interrupt the dragon stacking. See if Armut maybe also pulling his own Splinter Cell.
He can do a lot here.
He needs help? He's not Titanic.
He does a lot of damage, but the problem is, can he actually get all of the empowered autos onto Humanoid? I think the answer would normally be no, but Humanoid without Cleanse Up and Armor with Flash available could mean that if Humanoid overstays, Armor could find an advantage. Spirit Refuge is always a big deal, but getting it out now, Humanoid pretty much knows that there's not a lot of kill pressure left.
And it could be, or it should be, an easy tower takedown for Humanoid now. Shadow going to shadow Humanoid down here, getting some vision, maybe pick up a blue buff if he's a good boy, as SuperMassive now looking to collapse here.
Shadow has to be careful here because ulti can come out as well. The immediate chain sees the Ezreal up across the backside. Shadow now has to run for his life. That's one fast fawn, but not nearly fast enough. Elmer Fudd going to find the kill there. Kakao happy with that one.
There's not enough respect there from Shadow. All he needed to do was cover for Humanoid, allow him to continue to chip away at that tower. Overreaches for the blue buff, and a really good punish from SuperMassive here. Constantly, even though it's not super even or trading up in any case, they have been trading for each of the moves that Mad Lions have made. You know, either trying to steal a red buff when they're topside with Herald, or losing chip damage on their bot tower and then finding a pick on Shadow. It's these little things. They're keeping themselves in the game.
Absolutely. And I think have to keep on our eyes on how they pick their fights. So far, most of the advantages that Mad Lions have gotten have either been Shadow taking objectives or SuperMassive over-forcing their hand and Mad Lions punishing. So we'll have to see how this progresses. Shadow, of course, further ahead than the rest of the entire team from the side of SuperMassive. Carzzy and Humanoid as well looking incredibly strong. And once that Infinity Edge is finished for Humanoid, this is going to be Well, pretty impossible to survive, especially for the Zoe, who has very limited defensive options. Still needs to finish that Ludens before she can finish her Zhonya's. And while Ezreal and Graves certainly are going to have some armor, the Shen as well, Zoe is definitely the one who's going to suffer.
It frankly means that it's a long ways out for SuperMassive before they feel really confident taking an even numbers fight like you're talking about, Dracos. The fact that Zoe had to kind of pivot some itemization, that I think she's finally going to complete her first item on this back here. So there is some time for Mad Lions to be proactive on the map, especially for the strength that they have in their Senna and their Lucian right now, as well as some very big tank items. You know, you have a Gargoyle Stone Plate completed on Leona. Ornn is a big deal right now, especially for how weak Zoe is, just now completing the Ludens, and he's already got a lot of armor in his back pocket. So this should be Mad Lions map to do whatever they want with, but there's no dragon to fight for. It's just the second tier towers. They can start setting up maybe some potential picks around Baron, but it should actually be pretty easy for SuperMassive to kind of sack this and see how bold Mad Lions are feeling on pulling the trigger on this objective. Like, all Mad or SuperMassive have to do right now is just deny the picks. Look for counter blows.
Man, it's early in the game. Obviously, the damage over time from Lilia will start to stack up against the Baron. Damage is limited there to a certain degree, but Cacao and Snowflower now moving in. Snowflower jumping into the backside. They're trying to turn the fight, but Zoe's nowhere in the area. However, neither is Carzzy. That's going to be big. Ulti going across, though. That semi-global presence. Eyes on Arome. Where's the ult going to go? Fishing for Zeitnot, but instead will have to settle for Snowflower. Ormut now push back. Humanoid now stepping forward. Big damage coming in from the Lucian, but Bolulu finds the pick onto Carzzy. That's going to be massive. Cacao now moving in. The flash stolen away, and SuperMassive will get one back in exchange. Mad Lions have to be careful here. Zoe already with a picked up flash can wreak a lot of havoc. Arome taking big damage. Sleepy Chub Bubble is going to connect using the stolen flash. Shen now on the way in. SuperMassive just looking to extend this fight. Still have to be careful though. Humanoid with all sums available, but Mad Lions not looking to extend it themselves, just backing off.
This is 2 games back-to-back that SuperMassive have really punished Mad Lions from Fog of War, and it's Snowflower who's led the charge on both of the big turns there. You know, we're talking about how SuperMassive just needs to chill. There's not an immediate objective that Mad Lions can just gravitate towards and grab for. We're just playing for wave state. And they keep finding these cheeky little Fog of War plays where they blast cone over the tower. They find Carzzy pushing forward for vision and just sniped out by Bolulu. And it's creating a lot of time for SuperMassive to continue to farm up some of their core items so their composition can start to have a bit more bite in this game.
And the thing is that as they start to win these fights and as they get to lay down more vision control around these major objectives, Zoe gets scarier and scarier. And don't get me wrong, 1v1, if she doesn't land a bubble, Lucian is still going to smack her around. But Lucian has to get in range. And that's going to be more and more difficult if SuperMassive are given the time to set up around these objectives. Now, the good news for Mad is that SuperMassive do not have a lot of vision around this Drake. General vision around the pit, so they have to be careful about how they pick this fight. But Poke coming in from Bolulu. That's going to be a 2-person sleep. Lock up onto Armut. They're just going to pick the Shen off at the start of the fight. That is massive. Humanoid now laying down the culling. Good damage being thrown back. Bolulu trying to fire back in return, but Mad Lions should now have uncontested access to this Mountain Drake. Will further stop the SuperMassive soul from coming through.
One of the biggest difference in this composition versus the first comp that we saw from Mad Lions is the amount of immediate hard engage that it has. And you can see that Mad Lions are still doing a good job kind of knowing exactly when they want to set up for objectives, but they were lacking the tools to pull the trigger and be as decisive as some of their macro calling was. Now, with an Ornn, with a Leona, immediately they walk into the mid lane, they see that SuperMassive are out of position, and they have the tools to punish that.
And one of the things about Delily is that when you're behind, her utility does not feel very powerful, but when you're ahead, hold that thought. We got a flank coming in. Cacao potentially caught in no man's land, though. Armut still fishing for the taunt there. Eyes on Humanoid. Where's he going to go? No cleanse available means he can get locked up, but Armut now going to be in trouble. Clean footwork coming in from Humanoid, laying down the damage, but all of SuperMassive looking to collapse. Bolulu over the wall, and that is massive. Priority access now. Wait, Ezreal ulti. Zeitnot looking for the snipe. Humanoid, not AFK, does not even blink. Inches from his face, but SuperMassive, now they've got access to the Baron. This is perfect timing. Shadow is nowhere to be seen. Mad Lions have to respond. Humanoid does not have a TP of his own. We've seen Mad Lions give up their lives to deny these Baron attempts in the past, but SuperMassive, they're not pulling off this time. They want to commit. They're split on the decision. There's too many members caught in the pit. Shadow's going to start doing so much damage over the wall. 2K getting lower and lower. Can they secure it? Arome is taking down Snowflower. It's a messy fight. Who's going to finish it in the end? Shadow manages to find it, and that is massive. SuperMassive. 3 members sleepy. The Zoe goes back over the wall, but Mad Lions walk away with the Baron, and Shadow finally has a play to be proud of. A clean performance from him.
It was the ultimate. I heard you were talking shit. Shadow comes up big. He pulls out the Lily. It finally looks like we're going to have a successful game on the champion. He manages to secure the Baron for his team. And yeah, he didn't do it alone. The Mad Lions have constantly stopped SuperMassive on this objective specifically every single time as we take another look at this one.
And just so spread, so scrappy. Of course, Zeitknot goes over the wall. Shadow says, fine, let's trade places. Manages to get the smite. Kakao does not. And two-person sleep is icing on the cake as he manages to escape. But a valiant trade of his own life in this case. So, yeah. For once, Mad Lions are not, they're not getting caught up too much in the scrapping around of SuperMassive. SuperMassive played fantastically to set themselves up for that Baron in the first place, but Mad Lions punished. And because they secure the steal, because SuperMassive betted on a 50-50, it's starting to feel pretty impossible for SuperMassive to find another advantage.
And don't get me wrong, a 50-50 is never going to look good. Not like that gold graph for EU fans. But I like how crafty SuperMassive are. Like, think of all the times over this series it's like that deep teleport into the jungle to immediately turn on the Baron. The blast cone over the wall. The fog of war on mid lane for the Alistar Wombo combo. Like, these guys, they like throw the rulebook out the window and they hard force plays, and it's just really exciting to watch them. Now, in this game, it's still Mad Lions with the Baron. It's still Mad Lions now with a lot of control here, but I kind of get the feeling that you can almost never count SuperMassive out because they're so willing to throw a wrench and just break everything. Like, if you think how the formula should go, SuperMassive will supervent that and punish you.
Something we have to keep our eyes on. Of course, Mad Lions, they don't have the best sieging tools. It's pretty much just Senna. And Lucian can step forward, but it is always going to be risky to do so. Big ulti now coming in. Zeitknot has been marked. Zeitknot will be sleepy, but the team is there to body block. Is going to cleanse the last possible second. But Mad Lions, their main objective being the tower, they're still going to get it. And Cannon Minion there to body block the sleep. Perfectly timed in the end. Minion's coming to save the day for Mad Lions, but big damage now going on. Kaiser's going to be in trouble. Kakao looking for the flank off to the side, but he's not the Hecarim. He does not have easy access into the back line.
But look at the heals from Carzzy. Unless SuperMassive really pulled the trigger themselves, this poke damage, this huge chunk that Zeitknot and Balula are putting out doesn't mean anything.
Bit more than just poke damage, though. As you can see, the Humanoid hits like a truck, and Arome, always his biggest one, so he's there to body block there. Fantastic ult from Zeitknot across the side, but cannot look for any follow-up. Bolulu fishing will again connect on Arome, but he is going to be able to back off on that one. One inhibitor down now for Mad Lions. This is their game to lose. At this point, should be clean and simple. They should know how they want to play this one out, but SuperMassive are not going to make it easy.
Yep, so looking at the map state, the Dragon is spawning in 1 minute. Obviously, the next most important inhibitor for Mad Lions to secure would be the mid lane inhibitor, although the easiest objective to secure would be the Dragon and then the top outer tower. This is a game-defining fight away from ending, however. SuperMassive are not afforded any more mistakes. Falling down would mean the end of Game 2 in a 1-to-1 series.
Yeah, and it's very difficult because there's so many people that you have to worry about. But if you forget about Humanoid especially for even a second, he will one-shot most of your backliners. So have to give him that respect, but also have to respect the potential for Shadow to do so much sustained damage over the course of one of these fights. Bolulu just continuing to lay down poke. Will get harder as the wave crashes in. And both sides, it appears, just fishing. Bolulu constantly using that ult. We're seeing the Swirl Seed thrown out, as well as the snare coming out from Carzzy, but now Kaiser moving in. Hex Flash over the wall. Ornn ultimate, and they're all moving into the pinch. This is disastrous. Now, 3 target sleep. They've locked in multiple members. Zeitknot isolated off to the backside. This looks like a one fight for the Mad Lions. SuperMassive pulling back, but the wave in mid lane means that Mad Lions have priority access to the base, to the inhibitor, and could look to end the game. Armut, oh no, that's insult to injury. Shadow just looking to stop these backs as Mad Lions can start to push in.
Like you said, Dracos, it's a Shadow that's zoning away all of the rest of SuperMassive. Maybe they pick up the Fawn.
It's a fast Fawn, though. Kakao procs the phase rush, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough, and Mad Lions not looking to overextend, not looking to overcommit themselves. They'll settle for their second inhibitor and move to their third Mountain Drake.
Yep, everything is coming up heads for Mad Lions right now. They got the inhib, they're taking the Drake, they'll link at the reset, set up for the Baron that's spawning in 1 minute and 15 seconds. And look at Kakao right now. He's like, okay, what are my options here? I know that the Baron is coming. I can maybe try to hide in the jungle. I think he's stealing away a blue buff, possibly a Gromp, but you now have to look for one of those really crafty maneuvers from SuperMassive for them to have a shot at, moving to a potential match point. Otherwise, this looks, clean and dusted for Mad Lions. Humanoid special shout out there. You called it at the beginning of the fight, Dracos. Just finds Zeitnot and blows him up, completely forcing him out of the fight.
Shadow has stopwatch. This is going to be very difficult, but will be much easier for Armut's there. The immediate taunt, the immediate follow-up. He can't try to stopwatch. The team going to throw the shield across the top, and of course, he's going to stop himself from getting hit by it. The flash does not work for them. SuperMassive can look to find the flight, but Arome comes over the wall, and the Ornn is strong. The knock will not connect, but Snowflower will still go down. His ulti canceled. The rest of SuperMassive retreating. It is a 1-for-1 support for jungle. SuperMassive happy to take that one, but still, what will it amount to?
I love this team. SuperMassive are fun. I love how they break it. Kakao's like, I'll take this blue buff. I'll wait in this bush. Someone will come.
Look, the worst thing in League of Legends, and this is why when Spawn was talking about the OS teams, I like it so much, is when people lose slowly. Like when you just let yourself be bled out.
They are not a team that watch themselves lose.
They're going to take the risk.
We gotta flip this game somehow. Now, because Kakao and Armut did manage to kill Shadow, it does mean that Mad Lions' only option is to four-man stack into this top lane, since you have super minions coming in mid and bot waves, instead of immediately turning on the Baron and try to flip that 50-50 when you don't have Smite. So they did buy themselves some time, although lost a tower for it.
Yeah, but look at the vision. You got TP flanking wards for Armut. If he can find a way into the backline, maybe he can get something done, but it's going to be tough. Edge of Night is there for Carzzy. He's going to need a different spell to open it up, and still they've caught him out. Kakao's in trouble. He's going to try to take himself out to safety. All of the damage coming in from these CC ultimates. Zeitnot knocked up and knocked down. SuperMassive on the way in. Kaiser on the chase. Mad Lions, this is their position to end. Bolulu has to run. The wave crashing into the mid lane. They've got the supers to back them up. SuperMassive may not have enough time to regroup, recollect themselves. Some flashes available, but Zeitnot already dead. Snowflower up. They don't really have a lot of damage. They have to focus on clearing the waves, but doesn't seem like they have enough left in the tank. Bolulu still has yet to die this game. Armut now going to be leaping into trying to find the follow-up, but the Culling just does so much damage from Humanoid. The follow-up is there for the Mad Lions, and in Game 2, Mad strike back. They will not go quietly out of this tournament, even as EU's 4th seed. They will find their first win in this series and tie it up 1-1. Eventually.
We had 2 questions.